here doing a review on the 2020 Ducati Streetfighter V4s. So, before I give you my impression, let's just roll to some stats. You guys can take a look at them at your leisure and read them. They're stats on the engine, stats on some electronics, stats on some differences between the V4s and the V4. So, let's roll to some stats. So after you took a look at the stats, now let me just give you my impression of this bike. The styling is amazing. I love the biplane wings. The look of it is just, it's aggressive. The feel of it is aggressive. I love the high bars, the riding position. The riding position is amazing. The seat is super comfortable. Compared to the Panigale V4s, the seat is amazing. I could ride this thing for hours and not get uncomfortable. My legs don't feel cramped after say a 2-3 hour ride. I don't need to stop to take breaks like I do on the Panigale. The high bars, I don't feel like I'm being pushed forward constantly into the bars. The bars are a very comfortable position for me, and I'm pretty tall. I'm 6 foot. So what you're looking at here is basically a Panigale with high bars and no fairings and wings, which we all probably know because we've seen the Ducati commercials. So the engine, I thought it would have a little more Panigale bite to it. It definitely feels a lot tamer than the Panigale. I wish if they could have made one improvement on this bike, it would have been don't detune the engine as much. Give me a little more bite. On my Panigale, I give a quarter or maybe a third throttle, and that front wheel's raising up in first and even second gear. On this bike, I got to give half to 3/4 of a throttle to get that front wheel up high. Which, you know, that's probably the only negative thing I would say about this bike. For all you guys that don't have the Panigale, the electronic suite and the electronics package, it comes with ABS brakes, Ducati slide control, so that's the rear wheel, so if it ever starts to slide out, it'll back off power off that rear wheel to keep you from low siding. Wheelie control, traction control, all kinds of adjustments. The V4s has fully adjustable Olin suspension. You guys saw the stats on that, so I'm not going to keep going into that. But rideability, this thing is extremely rider friendly. It's not a bike you have to fight with. It's not, whether it's due to the bike itself or due to the riding position. It loves corners. It loves cornering. It feels super smooth. I ride it in sport mode. It doesn't feel overly bumpy or overly aggressive. The ride feels amazing. So let's take a look at some photos and some videos of me riding, and you can kind of get a bird's eye view of it, and then we'll come back. Thanks.
Hey everybody, so we're gonna take the Streetfighter on a canyon road. You could see the road. So here it is, the 2020 Streetfighter V4s. So far, my impression is this bike is so easy to ride. It's definitely rider friendly bike. As you can see, it's bone stock. I'm going to do a lot of upgrades, but for now we're going to do a review on the bone stock V4s model. I love the styling. The nose is a great touch, and those wings look amazing. But in reality, it doesn't have as much power as the Panigale. it has it's definitely feels tame compared to the Panigale. I haven't been pushing it that hard because it's brand new. I want to break it in proper, so I try and keep the RPMs down. And here comes another rider. Those guys are having fun. So this is it, 360 view. Beautiful bike. Let's get her going. You can hear the engine. Sounds nice. The display riding modes are all the same as the Panigale. We'll go over all that stuff a little bit later. So here we go. It's so easy to ride. This bike, it craves these canyon roads. The turn in is so easy and smooth. Quick shift is perfect. Down one, up one. Perfect place to break in a bike is these canyon roads. You're going up and down in the RPM range. This thing is just so easy to ride, but I gotta say, it doesn't have as much oomph and torque as the Panigale V4s. I guess you kind of expect a detuned engine to be a little more tame, a little more rideable for the street. It's kind of what it's made for. So let's talk again about the upgrades I'm getting on this bike. So what I'm doing is magnesium wheels, lightweight forged magnesium. I'm doing the lightweight chain sprocket, lightweight hubs, and I'm doing the okay, sorry, I got interrupted there. My radio came on by itself. Thanks to Cardo Slim. So again, I'm doing the chain sprocket set. I'm gonna go -1 on the front sprocket. I think it'll give it a little more torque at the lower end. And again, this bike is you're not really riding this bike at 150 miles an hour most of the time because it's a naked bike and you get plummeted by the wind. It's definitely made for these canyon roads and it's made for street, so I want it to have a little more oomph. I'm also getting the full Apro exhaust, Rizoma rear sets, some Rizoma wave reservoirs, and a couple of little things that don't really affect the performance, but the big things that will affect the performance is the wheels, the -1 in the front sprocket, all the lightweight chain sprocket set, and the full titanium exhaust. So the bike will take a nice diet and should have a lot more power. But to be honest with you, the bike's pretty powerful as a stock bike. But if you're used to the Panigale, you're gonna kind of like crave that extra power. So that's why you should go with the lighter wheels, the -1 sprocket, and the full exhaust. Should bring it very close to the Panigale power. God, I love this bike. I love the way it turns. It's like it craves these corners. And the bike position is so comfortable. You can sustain a ride for a long time on this bike. You could actually use this bike as your touring bike. I had the Multistrada. There's another biker. I had the Multistrada, and I love that bike. Rideability was, let's say we could scale rideability. So if we scale it, 0 being the hardest to ride, 10 being the absolute easiest bike to ride, I would put my Multistrada somewhere around a 6 or a 7. And the reason I don't give it any higher than that is because the bike is pretty heavy, and you can feel the front end weight on it. My Panigale, I would give probably a 4 or 5. It's a little bit harder bike to ride, but you expect this sport bike to be a little more difficult, take a little more skill and a little more energy and body position. This bike right here, I give this bike probably an 8 for rideability. The position in the seat is so comfortable for longer rides. Where the rear sets are, it gives you perfect leg room. You don't feel cramped. You don't get cramped. The high bars are perfect. I'm pretty tall, so I still feel super comfortable. I'm 6 foot, but this bike is just amazing. Such a fun bike to ride.
Hey everybody, Paul at Speed again. So, do a quick wrap up on this 2020 Streetfighter V4s. So, again, 208 horsepower at 12,750, I believe, 90.4, I think it is, foot-pounds of torque at 11,500. Aluminum wheels, forged aluminum wheels, fully adjustable Öhlins. I'd highly recommend this bike. It's a fun bike to ride. If you're used to high power bikes like super bikes, you could go with the full titanium exhaust and the wheels, and that should bring you pretty close. Again, most of the power lives in the higher RPM range on this bike because it is a 4-cylinder. The old twins, the power and torque, they'd be able to reach down low with the power and torque. But on the 4-cylinders, their power is in the higher RPMs. Now, I haven't experienced the total power of the bike, obviously, because it's still brand new and I'm in braking mileage. But as soon as I'm done with the braking mileage and get all my upgrades, I'll do another review again of all the upgrades in the higher power and in the higher range area. All right, everybody, thanks.